And then the next step is it'll say select your time zone, so you pick, generally where you're at. It won't be, precise. Like you're not necessarily in New York if you click this area. You might be way up here or, something like that. And then the keyboard layout, it asks about that for your, what type of keyboard you use. Then the next step is your user details. So this will be your main login information. It says who are you, so you put your name in there. Your computer's name, so it says this name it uses when it talks to other computers, so this will help you identify your computer, your individual computer on your network and things like that. And then you pick a username and a password, and it kind of gives you some guidance about, when's a strong password. And this will be what you use to log in to your computer. And then you have two options. You'll say, you can see login automatically. So it's login automatically will make it so you don't really have to log in each time you start your computer. It says require my password to log in, and then you can encrypt your home folder if you want to, or you don't have to. It's up to you which options you want to choose there. It says your name can be your real name, but it doesn't have to be. It's only used locally in the screensaver and on the login screen. So it says your username is what you log in as, and your host name is the name of your computer on the network. So that's your computer's name. That's what it's talking about there. To prevent bugs, use only lowercase characters with no punctuation or accentuation, and that's talking about the computer name there instead of your name or your password or whatever. So it says to protect your personal data against local attacks, people around you, or in case your computer gets stolen, tick encrypt my home folder. So if you're concerned about that, you can do that. Otherwise, in most cases, like for a home computer, you don't really need to worry about it, I wouldn't say, but it's up to you. I personally like to require my password to log in. That way there's at least that level of protection or security when you go to start your computer and all that. That way, unless someone knows what your password is, then they can't really get into your system in the first place. So, but it's up to you whether you want to add the encryption. It's a whole extra layer. It says choose a strong password, and it'll tell you when you have a good password and when you don't. So it says enjoy the slideshow while Linux Mint is installed on your computer. So, and this actually will take a while at this point, but it will walk you through a whole bunch of stuff. You'll see these little arrows off to the side. You can click, and it'll cycle through different features of Linux Mint, some of the software that comes installed by default. There's quite a bit of good stuff there that you can check out. And it will give you a brief overview while you're waiting for everything to install about, just exactly what Linux Mint has to offer and all its, it'll name some specific softwares that comes pre-installed on it that you can use. Like, so it'll talk to you about like Rhythmbox or whatever for audio or whatever else it is. Spotify it'll mention, or certain things like that. As additional software you can get if you want, or things like that. So and it may take 15-20 minutes. It just depends on your system and all the options you chose and everything. And it says when the installation is finished, click restart now. So it does go through all the system setup. It'll say that the installation is finished, and basically you want to restart the computer to boot into the fully installed version of Linux Mint versus the live session where you can't really continue using it in a meaningful way long term that way. So it says the computer will then start to shut down and ask you to remove the USB disk or the DVD that you used to install it. It's upon reboot, your computer should show you a boot menu or start your newly installed Linux Mint operating system. So it'll show you a boot menu if you are dual booting and you now have, say, Windows and Linux both on there, and it'll say which one do you want to boot into, and you just use the up and down arrows on your keyboard and press enter if you want to go to Windows that time, or if you want to go to Linux Mint that time, whatever. So, and that about covers, pretty much the installation process. I would have done it in video form, but unfortunately it's kind of difficult to get decent footage of the installation process because it is in that live session. Like, I don't have a good way of recording video of the live session itself, because the software that you would record, that you would use to capture the screen and everything, you need to have the installation actually, or you need to have Linux Mint actually installed onto the system before that can be used. So it's a little bit trickier, but thankfully the installation guide here is really thorough, and they have pretty good pictures. It's a little bit outdated for the images. Like, it looks like it's a couple of versions older. There might have been like Mint 19 or something like that when they did the, or maybe even 18 or something when they did the images for it. But the process is very thoroughly explained, and so as long as you're following along with what it's saying here, you should have very little issue getting it actually installed. And if you do have some difficulty, there's a troubleshooting section for boot options and the EFI section stuff, and then even frequently asked questions about booting multiple operating systems, about partitions, things like that. So, and where else to find help if this doesn't quite cover it for you, whatever your issue is that you're having. But it's very thorough, and I think they did a great job of making this very easy to follow along with, and also presenting enough information so that you get an understanding of what the process is if you've never done it before. I would have loved to have something like this, 10 years ago when I first started. It was not this thorough or this detailed. So, but I think it's pretty good. So, and if you've got that process down, then you can try it out and see Linux for yourself. See if it's something that you enjoy. I will have all kinds of, well, maybe not for sure, but I plan to have all kinds of future videos about Linux especially for new users, new people that have just switched to it from Windows and they want to learn more about how it works. What to do with it. What they can do with it. What they what you might still struggle to do with it, but it's a very small list these days, to be honest. And even ways that, in my opinion at least, that it's superior to the Windows experience. There's a lot to appreciate about it that, especially now, that the further it goes, the better it gets. So, it's just been improving year after year after year. So, and there's a lot to it that you can enjoy, and more simply than, in my opinion, than how Windows is taking things these days. So anyways, hopefully you enjoyed that and got quite a bit out of it. And for those of you who are new to try Linux, congratulations on making that jump and getting into the experimentation and the curiosity of it all, and hopefully you enjoy your time discovering what it's about, and the options that you have available to you that many people don't even know is out there. They don't even know they have an alternative to Windows. They just buy a computer and it's got Windows on it, and it's like, okay, so they don't think about it any further than that. But there are options out there. There are choices for people, and a lot of them are more they offer more freedoms than what's handed to them by default. So, all right. Well, hopefully you enjoyed this, and I will see you next time for another video. Have a great day. If you enjoyed this video and you want to learn even more, you can find my books at bookstoread.com/Jonathan. That's books, the number 2, read.com/JONATHAN.